Hey guys, Uzo here. I've had a few people ask me, where have I been? What am I doing? So I'm going to give you a bit of an update here, and I'll explain why I really haven't been putting up any content for a while. There's two main reasons. The first reason is that I have all 13 characters at level 80, and I had them all at full conquest cap. Getting them all to full conquest cap was the hard part of this. And what it means is that I had to spread a lot of time between them. I had to use multiple sources of conquest, for example, doing epic BGs even, going out trying to get as many crates as possible. For Battleground Blitz, I would only play for daily win. I'd get on a character, queue Battleground Blitz, get a win, switch to another character. So I didn't play many Battleground Blitz matches in the first week or two. I've been playing more in last week because, now that I have everybody at conquest cap, there's less pressure on getting conquest, and I can just try to cap, do nothing but Battleground Blitz and supply crates, for example, and maybe one of the weekly quests. So that's one reason, that is a heavy time investment, and I'm playing for the long term, not the short term. In the short term, it hurts me, but in the long term, later in the season, I'll be at the advantage of having every single class at level 80 and fully geared. Right? So that's a big advantage to have at the end of the season, not necessarily at the beginning of a season. And because of that, I have 160 blitzes played, but those 160 games are spread out across 13 characters. So none of them have many games played, which means none of them are out of placement matches, and they're getting low MMR matches for the most part. And that's going to lead into the second reason that I haven't been posting a lot of videos, and that is because the MMR system is total garbage at this level of play. When you first come into your placement games, and then you're starting out supposedly at 1500 MMR, the system is completely failing at that level, and I'll show you via examples why that is the case. Now, a lot of these low MMR matches, they're not determined by which team plays better. They're determined by which team plays worse. And I don't think those would be very interesting matches to watch. I do have some interesting matches that I would like to share, but many of these matches just aren't worth viewing. They just aren't worth watching. Take a look at this match. It's 1377 versus 1294. And you might say, well, that means you must be doing kind of poorly. But actually, that's not the case at all. So at the point of time of this game, we are 8 wins, 1 loss. Now, you would expect with 8 wins, 1 loss, that we would have an MMR of at least 1,700, personal MMR of at least 1,700, maybe 1,800, and that might be a conservative guess. So we are playing in a match where the team is, maybe 500 MMR below us. Let me go back to the screen. So let's say we are like personal MMR, 1,700, 1,800. So we're playing with and against teams that are 400, 500 MMR below our personal MMR. Now keep in mind, our team is 1377, but we are at the top end of the personal MMR for this team, so we're actually bringing the MMR of our team up. If you don't take us into account, the rest of our team is at the level of the other team or maybe even lower. So when this happens to you, and this is what is happening to us more often than not, for our characters that have high win rate percentages, we are not getting put into MMR matches that are higher than 1,500. All of the matches that we are getting are below 1,500. They range between 1,100 and 1,400 usually. And since we're hundreds of personal MMR higher than that, we don't gain much if we win these, and we lose a lot if we lose them. And here we are in a situation where Our team is not really better than their team, again, because we're bringing up this team MMR. And not only that, we're on DWG. We win at every single objective that we're at. And we're not always together, by the way. We often split objectives in something like this. But we win all of the objectives that we are at as individuals. But we're going to lose this match because this is the absolute hardest map to carry. Like if we're in a flag map or we're in TOK, we probably win this match easily. But in DWG, no. You're extremely dependent on the rest of your team. You can win every single engagement that you have at every objective that you go to and still lose this match if the rest of your team is not winning their fights. This is what we like to call a low reward, high risk situation. And it's high pressure because we feel we have to carry our team to a win in order to win this match. And again, if we win it, we don't gain much. If we lose it, we lose a lot. In fact, let me show you exactly what we lost when we lost this match. Okay, so we lose this match, and at the time of this match, my evoker was 8 wins, 1 loss, and I lose 17 rating. This is my second loss of the season, and I lose CR. Think about that. Now, I know about placement games. I'm like one of the first people that talked about placement games back in Dragonflight. And in Dragonflight, it seemed to be somewhere around like 15 to 20 matches. People are now saying it's 20 to 25 matches. But I'm telling you, in Dragonflight, I never saw matchups like this. I never saw situations where my people that were doing well were placed into matches like this. It just did not happen, ever. And this is consistent. This is not the outlier. This is consistently what we're getting placed into. These high pressure, low reward, high risk matches. Over and over and over again. And it's not fun. It's not fun trying to carry new and inexperienced players to wins. That is not fun. What's fun is playing with other good players against other good players. That's what's fun. So let me give you an analogy. Let's say Blizzard comes to us and says, okay, queue for Battleground Blitz. If you win, we don't punch you in the nuts. But if you lose, we punch you in the nuts. Now, I really don't want to get punched in the nuts. And if I don't queue at all, I don't get punched in the nuts. So where's my incentive to play? I have no incentive to play if, when I queue, I have to win to not get punched in the nuts. There's no reward there for me. The reward is not getting punched in the nuts. But if I don't want to get punched in the nuts, then I just don't queue. That's the psychology of this. This is what this type of match is for people that have high win rates. We are actually getting punished for doing well in this system. Okay, here's a match on my Ret Paladin. This one I'm actually solo queued. And at the time of this match, I am 9 wins, 3 losses. And let's see what type of teams we are placed on and what we're fighting. Okay, so in this one, I'm on a 1278 team against a 1400 team. Well, again, I'm at the high end of the personal MMR in this team, no doubt. I looked at all these people. I inspected them all to see what their win rates were and how they're doing. I am absolutely 100% the highest personal MMR player on our team, which means I'm actually bringing our team MMR average up to 1278. Now you might say, well, this isn't as like the other one because this time the other team is higher MMR than you. Yeah, they're higher MMR than me, but they're still hundreds of MMR below my own personal MMR. So if I lose this game because I'm not able to carry this 1278 team it is going to hurt me. Okay, that's the position that I'm putting. And this is common. This is the normal for me. This is what's commonly happening to me. Now, I understand the concept of placement games, right? But the problem is that all of these games, and this is generally only happening to the characters that I have that have a high win percentage after playing a good number of games, like around 10 games, 8 games, 10 games. If they have over an 80% win percentage, like 80 to 100 win percentage, they're getting put into these MMR matches. They're never getting put into matches above 1500 MMR. All of the games that I have played are almost all, maybe with the exception of 1 or 2, on these characters that have high win rates, are all games that are lower than 1500 MMR. It's like they're designed to fuck me over, or they're designed to punch me in the balls. Now, I don't expect to be getting placed into 2K MMR matches with as few games as I've played, but on the flip side of that, I also don't expect to get put into 1100 matches, like matches where there's actual 1100 rated teams with my win percentage. I shouldn't be in 2K MMR matches, but I also should not be in 1100 MMR matches. Okay, this one on my Ret Paladin, I solo queued for this one. And at this point in time, I am 10 wins, 3 losses. And I'm put into a 1508 versus 1464 match. Now, again, all the matches I'm getting on the Ret Paladin in particular, and on the Evoker, they're all matches that are kind of ranging from 1100 up to around this, 1500. But my personal MMR is got to be, like, I would guess around 1800 or so. That would be my guess. Of course, it's a pure guess because we don't know. So the enemy team is hundreds of MMR below me. And at this stage, what that means is that if I lose this match, I lose CR. And you can see here, I win the match, and I only get 9 rating change for it. Now let's think about this for a little bit. Again, I'm going to talk about placement games. People say, oh, well, this kind of fixes itself after 20, 25 games. So I'm at 13 games here. So all I have to do is play 12 more matches like this, and then I finally get to the MMR matches I belong at? Is that what you're telling me? I don't know if I want to play any more matches like this. I have no incentive to do it. So either Blizzard needs to come forward and tell us exactly what their intentions are for the system, and then tell us how the placement games actually work. Because make this assumption. How many people out there do you think are queuing Blitz that don't really have a good grasp of how the MMR system works, and they know nothing about placement games? And this is what they see, okay? Look at it from their perspective, that they don't know about these things, and they don't know that, hey, maybe this fixes itself if you play enough games. Maybe it does. But you're going to have to play a lot of games in order to fix it, okay? For sake of simplicity, let's say I am 1550 rating after this match, and I get 10 rating change for matches like this. And again, this is actually at the top end MMR for matches on my Ret Paladin. This is top end for me. This is actually much better than what I usually get. Okay, what I usually get are matches ranging from 1100 to 1400 in here. So this is actually a favorable MMR matchup for me relative to the other MMR matchups I've been in. So if I continue to get matches like this, what that means is I would have to win 5 straight matches to go from 1550 to 1600 to get the token. Let's say I'm a player, I'm new, I don't have high aspirations, I don't really know how the MMR system works, I don't know anything about placement games, I just want to get that token. I'm looking at this saying, I have to win 5 more matches like this in a row without a loss just to get the 1600 token? And then if they try to do that and their next one is a loss, guess what? They're going to quit. Why would you punish yourself like this? This is like pure punishment for having a high win percentage. So after this match, I'm 11 wins, 3 losses. That's pretty good, isn't it? That's not bad. Why am I fighting a 1400 rated team again? Where I only get 9 CR if I win? And if I lose CR here. Who puts up with that? The only people that would put up with this are people who know that, hey, after they get to 25 wins, this all kind of fucking fixes itself, and I'm finally playing at MMR ranges that I belong at. What is the point of an MMR system if it doesn't place you against similar people? What's the point? Now, I forgot to do it. Like I said in that previous match, I inspected some of those people, and those people were legit low MMR people. I'm talking about people with 20, 30% win rates, with like 30 plus games played. Now, I have some characters with low win rates. I think I have one with 38% win rate. And interesting enough, it's my casters. And they've been all pure solo queue. I haven't done any duo queue with them. My Shadow Priest, my Frost Mage, and my Affliction Warlock. No, my Affliction Warlock might have a winning record, but only by a little bit. But my Shadow Priest and my Frost Mage in particular have pretty poor records. And if they have a 38 win percentage and they're getting placed on like 1400 rated teams, I have no problem with that. Because that's where they belong at that point in time, right? My Frost Mage, my Shadow Priest, which, I've been, you could say unlucky, or you could say that I didn't do enough in the matches where I could have won and, I just didn't do enough, possible. They have losing records. And if they get placed on a 1400 team against another 1400 team, I'm perfectly fine with that because that's what their record reflects. But what I'm not fine with is having a character with 10 wins and 3 losses but being put into a match like this. That is my problem. That is why I think the system is absolutely failing for this MMR range, for the entry MMR range. Now, I mentioned before, it is actually possible to get placed into games higher MMR than where you belong. But this has happened to me twice. Again, I've played 160 games, and that has happened to me twice. And it hasn't happened on my characters that have high win rates. It hasn't happened on my characters that have 80%, 90%, even 100% win rate. It hasn't happened to them. Let me show you the characters it has happened to. So most of my matches are on Frost DK, but I decided to go ahead and jump on Unholy DK and play it, before the devastating nerf comes in, so I could just play one match before they get totally buried under the ground. And this is my first match. You can see here it's a win. I only have 192 rating. That's my first match. And look at the MMR. It's like a 1600 MMR game. The players that I have that have 80%, 90%, or even 100%. I don't have anybody at 100% anymore after yesterday. Because I got put into these horrible matches. But I still have people, several people, over 80% win percentage. They don't get matches like this. Their matches are 1500 or lower. They don't get put on even a 1600 rated match. But my Unholy DK in their very first game does. Isn't that weird? That is weird, isn't it? Oh, and look who's on the enemy team. It's Jelly Beans. The Jelly Beans. Yes, it's him. GV Jelly Beans from Tychondrius. Let's see how he did. 1 killing blow, 4 deaths. His presence there was totally inconsequential. For the people that try to gaslight you and tell you that a good player can carry these type of matches, they're either trolling you or they are legitimately stupid people. I mean, they're just saying an incredibly stupid thing. They're not smart. Nobody can carry Jelly Bean's team to a victory like this. Look at this. We have over 30 HKs. They have 1 kill. And Jelly Beans is the person that got that kill. Nobody in this world, and I would say not even if a supernatural being descended from the sky and entered into this match on the Alliance side, they wouldn't have been able to win it. Okay, totally unwinnable match. It doesn't matter who you are. Nobody's winning this, okay? Nobody is winning that match. So the people that say that stuff, just realize they're revealing themselves to be an idiot when they say that. Now, I have a ton of examples that I could show you where my high win rate players are consistently getting placed into low MMR matches. It's not just like one every once in a while. It is the norm. That is what they get most often. And again, at the top end, they're maybe getting into like a mid 1500 match, against a 1400 team or something. They aren't getting into higher MMR matches ever. But then on the flip side of that, and I told you this has happened to me twice out of 160 games played, sometimes I get a character that gets placed into an MMR match that they shouldn't be in based on the number of games that they've played. Here I'm on my Survival Hunter, and my Survival Hunter going into this match was 2 wins, 1 loss. 3 games played, and I get placed on a 1937 MMR team. Meanwhile, my characters with 8 to 12 games, roughly, with over 80% win percentage, are getting placed against 1100 and 1200 rated teams. And I feel lucky if they get placed against a 1500 team. That's a good thing, because that means if I lose, I don't lose nearly as much. But my Survival Hunter, on their 3rd game, gets placed into a 1900 MMR match. Now, I challenge anyone from Blizzard to defend this system as is. And if you want to defend it, then explain why the system is allowing for matches like this. What's the logic and reasoning behind the system? How do the placement games actually work? Does the placement actually hurt me? Let's say my Paladin, and it is fighting like pretty much nothing but teams underneath 1500 MMR. So my Paladin finally makes it out of placement games, but they've only beat teams under 1500 MMR because they've only been placed against teams under 1500 MMR. Does the game decide that, well, this person has only beat teams lower than 1500, so we're not going to place them as high? Does the placement system actually do that to you? Does the placement system hurt you for when you get put into MMR matches that are hundreds of MMR below you? Something you have zero control over. I have zero control over the type of matches that this system places me in. So I would love for Blizzard to come and help explain to me why I'm seeing the things that I'm seeing here. Or to explain to me how the placement system actually works, and if you just stick with it, things are going to get better without the placement system actually harming you in your journey to get to that point where you should be playing in MMR matches that you belong at. By the way, this match right here was a win, and it was an easier win than trying to carry some team full of legit 1100 MMR players to a win. It's easier to play in matches where you have good people on your side against good people than trying to win matches where you have bad people on both sides. Matches at low MMR are determined by which team is worse than the other team, not by which team is better. I have a joke. I say that it's RNG. It all depends on whether you get on the shitty team or the shittier team. That's it for this one all. Take care.